Hello and welcome to Buzz This Week. My name is Tanay Tiwari and I just want to tell you that you're not the only one. IPL की शुरुआत में फैंटेसी टीम्स में पैसे लगाकर बहुत पैसे मैंने भी हारे थे. मैंने भी सोचा था कि टूर्नामेंट के एंड तक ये पैसे वापस बना लेंगे. And just when I'd found the recipe to make the perfect fantasy team, bam, the IPLs postponed. सच में यार, करोड़पति बनने का पूरा प्लान पक्का था इस सीजन. On the show this week, IPL 2021's aftermath. Team India gears up for the test and the hundreds calling. It's been a week since IPL's postponement and the dust hasn't settled even yet. And that's because IPL is a tournament that happens on such a huge scale. And to ensure that things happen correctly at that huge a scale, you need a lot of things to go right. And things are not going right in these COVID times, which means things like players being transported back to their own countries is causing problems to the BCCI. Australian players, the largest contingent that came to play the IPL, are right now in the Maldives because Australia has shut its border to India until May 15th. While other players also are having problems reaching their homes, which is why franchises are leaving no stone unturned to ensure that all of them reach home safely. And spearheading that fight is the Mumbai Indians, who've chartered flights to ensure that all of their players reach their homes, but also in the process they've offered help to other franchise and other players who may be heading in the same direction. And then there is the leader, the man, MS Dhoni, who's leading his side off the field as well. As per a report from a player from within that bio bubble, he said that MS Dhoni said, let everyone leave, let the overseas players leave first and then the domestic players, and that MS Dhoni was the last one to leave the hotel after he'd sent off everyone safely back home. माई भाई एक ही दिल है, वो आपके डेब्यू के बाद आपको दे दिया था, अभी कितनी बार जीतोगे यही दिल? But troubles don't really seem to be going away for the BCCI, as the BCCI president Sourav Ganguly has clarified that if the remainder of the IPL 2021 doesn't take place this year, the BCCI stand to lose an amount of 2,500 crore rupees. दादा, हम एक ही इंडस्ट्री के हैं, उसको 2,501 crore कर दीजिए. मैं भी करोड़पति बनने ही वाला था. But jokes apart, that is a huge sum, and that's not the only problem that the BCCI has at the moment. Another problem is now scheduling the remainder of the IPL in a packed international calendar. There were contentions first that may happen between the World Test Championship final and the England Test series, but now BCCI president has said that won't happen because Team India will play Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka for a white ball series, which means that the players who are in England for the WTC and the England Test series will not be a part of this, which might make us watch Ishan Kishan, Suryakumar Yadav, perhaps a Chetan Sakaria or a Rahul Tewatia in India colours as well. As for the remainder of the IPL to take place, there is a small window after India's Test series against England ends somewhere in mid-September and the T20 World Cup starts early in October. As per the reports, BCCI is looking at venues like the UAE, Sri Lanka, Australia and England, but not India, because the BCCI president said that it is going to be very tough to hold the tournament in India with the rising number of COVID cases and also the kind of guidelines that are in place for quarantine and other COVID-related issues. And while we hope for the rest of the IPL 2021 to materialize, because we're all fans of the IPL, it is going to be a huge logistical challenge for the BCCI, because it's like arranging so many players at one venue, ensuring that their availability is there, all of them coming in time for the franchises to be ready for the tournament. It's like planning a Goa trip, but just with 10 times more friends and 100 times more money. But since all of us are Goa trips lovers, all that we can hope for is for this Goa trip to materialize for the BCCI. Talk of trips, the one that Team India is all in readiness to take is to England for a very long time early in the first week of June, as Virat Kohli and his men embark to first play the World Test Championship final against New Zealand at Southampton starting June 18th and then start to play a 5-test series against England starting in August first week. The squad for that has been announced, and it is a jumbo squad, keeping in mind the COVID-19 related norms, quarantines and other things. India have selected a 20-man squad with 4 standbys as well. No Bhuvi, no Shaw, no Hardik, no Kuldeep in this test squad, which sees the return from injury for Jadeja, Shami and Umesh. The squad also includes KL Rahul and Ridhiman Saha, both of whom are subject to clearing fitness. But if there's one man who's clearing all doubts everywhere, it's that one man, Rishabh Pant, who is now the best ranked test wicketkeeper batsman for India in the history. Yes, he's now ranked 6th in the ICC's test ranking for batsmen, which is the highest for any Indian wicketkeeper batsman. And he's tied at that spot with Henry Nicholls and Rohit Sharma.
पंत बोल रहा है आप और वो.
अच्छा, मेरे साथ उसको करना है.
हाँ,
साला 1 साल हुआ नहीं इसको क्रिकेट खेल के छक्के का कंपटीशन कर रहा है.
रोहित भाई, बात का पक्का निकला लड़का. All of this while Team India have also included 4 standbys, which include the left-arm pacer from Gujarat, Arzan Nagwaswala, and the ever-impressive Prasidh Krishna, whose inclusion has now come under a cloud of doubt because he has contracted COVID-19 after leaving the biosecure bubble of the KKR. This happens to be the 4th case in the Kolkata Knight Riders camp post IPL 2021, causing issues and ensuring that he will have to put forth a fitness certificate before he can join Team India on that flight for the England tour. In a swarm of grim news doing the rounds, there's some exciting news coming in as well, as the BCCI has granted no objection certificates to Smriti Mandhana, Harmanpreet Kaur, Jemima Rodriguez and Deepti Sharma to play in the 100 in the UK. There are also reports of franchises looking at the explosive opening batter Shafali Verma as a potential recruit. Now keep in mind, all of the Indian contingent will leave with the Indian men's team for the one-off test that they will play against England women at Bristol starting in the 2nd week of June. While the Team India will come back after that, these 4 players are expected to stay back to play the 100. And while this is good news, a grim one also broke through from the Indian women's camp as Veda Krishnamurthy took to Twitter to inform how she lost her mother and sister in a week's time to the dreaded COVID-19 virus. In addition to which, there's also news now that Chetan Sakaria has lost his father to COVID-19. This happens after Chetan already lost his brother while he was playing in the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy earlier this year. All of this just reiterates how dreaded a virus this is and how it is the time to be safe and it is the time to be cautious at home, indoors, and ensure that we break the chain. Your bus challenge for this week? आपको पता है?
नहीं पता है, कहाँ पता है?
The World Test Championship is upon us, but we'll discuss the 11 later. Right now, your challenge is to give me the opening batsman for India. I'd say I would still prefer Mayank Agarwal ahead of Shubman Gill to partner Rohit Sharma because I think in those swinging, seaming conditions, Mayank Agarwal would be a perfect fit. Would you choose Gill or Mayank? Tell us using #BuzzThisWeek, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. You know the drill. Just send in your answers. That's all on this episode of Buzz This Week. Until next week, remember, if Shahid Afridi can score a century in ODIs at 16 and Tapish Khan can make a test debut at 36, age and time are just relative concepts. Unless you're buying crypto or going on Coven to register for the vaccine, in which case age and time are both really important. So ace it दोस्तों, crypto खरीदो मत खरीदो, Coven पर register करके vaccine जरूर लगवा लो, because your boy, the next time when I meet you, I will be vaccinated. I hope you will be too. See you next week.